Welcome back to another episode. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about your podcast and how you're going to structure your content and your episodes. If you are new to this podcast, thank you for tapping in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and let me know what you thought about this episode here. So let's talk about structure. Let's talk about the type of podcast you can have. You can have a solo podcast like this, like I'm shooting in my home office on my laptop by myself, talking to you about shooting and recording podcasts. Now, what can you do when you're solo dolo, when you're by yourself? Well, like I said in the previous episode, you could talk about being an expert in your lane, in your field, right? You could talk about strategies on how you got wherever you are on your in your career journey, business, whatever type of podcast that you have, you can shoot episodes talking about a specific topic, right? So you can have solo podcasts to where maybe you just it's structured, you have bullet points, you have things that's already in your mind, you've written notes about it. So that's one way you can do it, right? You can have those every day of the week. Maybe it's short episodes like you guys are hearing right now. I'm capping it about 15 to 20 minutes at the most because I'm doing it on my lunch time, on my free time, right? So this is how effective you can be. And on the other side of that, you could have guests join in. And why would you have a guest join in on your podcast? To bring it value, to bring it more credibility in whatever you're talking about. You can leverage that who expertise in whatever field that they're in to bring value to yourself and also to the audience you're serving, the audience you're nurturing, the audience you're giving information to. So those are two forms of podcasts that you can have, and you can have those, every day. You can have an episode drop maybe 5 days a week, or you can have it one time a week or every other week, but it's totally up to you, right? And then the next thing I want to bring up to you guys really fast will be the three E's, right? So to have a very entertaining or engaging podcast episode, you definitely have to be entertaining to a certain extent. So, like for example, if I was like just monotone, like right here, you wouldn't be that engaged, right? But clearly, you could tell I'm passionate about making podcasts and promoting podcasts to people that I rock with, and I send podcasts all the time to my boys, to my business partner, to people that I rock with that I found valuable. So I know if you're tuning in into this episode, you think the same way too. Make sure that you're bringing value, right, on your podcast. By me telling you that you should have a podcast is bringing value to you because I'm planting a seed in your mind and in your heart, the thing that's been tugging on you for the past, 2 to 3 years that you haven't executed on, and you're dealing with the imposter syndrome. You're dealing like, oh, is people are they really going to listen to me? Yes, they're going to listen to you, right? Yes, they're going to listen to you because they value what you have when you do it on a consistent basis, when you show that you're the authority of that specific field and industry that you are talking about. Okay. And then you have to engage. You have to draw in your listeners to engage with you, encourage them to reply to the comments, encourage them to hit you up on email, encourage them to hop on the call with you, right? Let them know that it's a community. That's what you're building. That's what I'm doing right now here with you. Whether you like it or not, I am. And then I want to, so solo episodes, I like the next thing we're talking about solo versus guest. I've done both. Both. I can't even talk. Solo episodes let me just like get off what's in my mind, like really quick without interruptions. I don't have to worry about meeting up with the guests, making sure that our calendars align. But I like to do these episodes because I know I'm working on being more concise. I'm working on just giving more consistent content, and that's a pro. There's no cons to it, really, right? If you want to say that there is a con, then like, okay, you don't have a guest that is on the episode to bring more value. But if you view this in the light of like you're just getting out consistent content, talking about documenting what you're going through, what you've been through, these are good episodes you can do on a consistent basis to get out to your audience, to serve them, right? And then maybe, one time a week you have a guest on, or bi-weekly, or one time a month, right? So, and on the other side of having a guest, right, is that you have engaging content. It's a dialogue, right? So if I had a guest in my home office and we had a setup over there, we were just going back and forth, it would have been organic, right? Or if it was on a Zoom or Riverside that I'm recording on right now, you can see the dynamics, you can see the chemistry, you can see the flow. So that's a benefit of having a guest. But like I said before, it would be like sometimes the schedule, it doesn't happen, lives, and yada, yada. But if you front load your content on the back end and you schedule out your episodes, right? It's going to feel like you have a season worth of guests that you could then plan out one time a week, and then you can fill in the gaps with solo episodes like this. That's free game for you. All right. So again, if you want to work with me one-on-one, make sure you hit the link in the description. It's going to be somewhere to where, we can hop on a call to see if we're a good fit. Because I want to help you take your expertise to the next level by the way of a podcast and bring value to your market, to your niche, to your community, to your audience. Okay, so for example, this is what we could do. So, say for example, if I had this episode going for 20 to 30 minutes, or say I had a guest like right here with me, I'm able to then have the, segments in that episode to where the guest was just dropping gems, and maybe it's specifically about, I used to be a personal trainer. Maybe it's about strength training, right? Maybe that expert has years and years of experience training world-class athletes. Okay, so we could talk about training regimen. And then another part of it could be straight nutrition. And then the other part could be just straight mindset, mental. So there's different ways you can break up a podcast to then spread it out to make sure that you have enough consistent content that your consumers are going to be used to when, tapping in. Okay, well, we know Jay just dropped again, so we're tapping in. And that could have all been from one setting. Say my guest only had a limited time, 30 minutes. We chopped that up into, 3 10-minute episodes. Boom, there you go. 3 weeks worth of content, right? That you have with the expert. So that's one way you could look at it. And then I'm looking at my notes right now. So, and then I want to leave you guys with this because I want these to be very, very short. I want to keep it very short and sweet. So a lot of you guys are working your 9 to 5. You're working remote just like me. And you're wondering, how can I start? That's it. You just have to start, right? So I promise you, like I've had multiple podcasts. I've been on multiple podcasts. I had guests. I've had success. I've helped, executive speakers start their own podcast. And I just love podcasts. And if you are on the fence about if you should start your podcast, hop on the call with me to see if we're a good fit. I guarantee you we could find something that works for you, uh, and really marry like your passion and your expertise. That's what I want to help you uncover. And if you're on the fence, like, most of the people that I come across, right, they're dealing with the imposter syndrome. Oh, how can I do that? Well, it's easy. You gotta believe in yourself. You gotta believe in your coach. Coach Jay, that was kind of lame. Let's do it again. Ooh, cut that out. You got to believe in yourself and you got to believe in the path, right? What God has called you to do. All right. That's it for today. I want to keep these short and sweet. I will catch you guys on the next one. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to come and tap in. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Come on.